Well, g'day. Thanks for tuning in to this brand new podcast from the RSL WA radio station. My name is Ashayla Webster and I will be your host. So let me just tell you a little bit about this podcast and what you can expect if you decide to subscribe. I am the daughter of 2 veterans and I currently work for the RSL WA. Growing up in the military was a pretty interesting affair. There's not many people who have a childhood like I had, and it was something pretty special. Sure, there was some bad times. I ended up coming out the other side with PTSD, thanks to my parents' PTSD and their service, but there are a lot of fond memories as well. How many 8-year-olds do you know have fired a machine gun? Because I have, and it was pretty awesome. My dad taught me to shoot from a very young age, mostly with rifles, and he just thought it was a skill that every young girl should have. How many kids know how to navigate through a warship, a patrol boat, and a submarine? There are some professional sailors who struggle with this, and I would do it every single time my dad deployed. We had this little ritual, you see. Before Dad deployed, he would carry his bag down into the ship or the boat, and I would lead the way, and I would take him to whichever bunk he was stationed to, and I would set him up. His bunk always had this little white tiger toy that he always took with him, pictures of me and my mum, and of course all that standard paraphernalia. So I would unpack his bags and make sure that he was all settled in before we would go to the mess for a cup of tea, and Dad would show me around the boat or ship just to make sure that I was comfortable with where he was going and what he was doing. So that was my childhood, and the idea of this podcast is to share stories like mine, to get people all over West Australia to just talk about their history and what life was like in the military. These stories are going to come from veterans, from their family members, from those currently serving, and really from anyone who's happy to sit down and have a chat with me about the military and military life. So make sure to subscribe to this podcast and stay tuned, guys. It's time to prep your standard NATO. This podcast was edited, published and produced by the RSL WA. Head to www.rslwa.org.au for other content. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook.